Kotaku Australia is done. And I think this could be something that we'll start seeing with more of these gaming journalist websites. We've got an article from That Park Place, John Trent, today, and let's just get right into it. Kotaku Australia will be shut down as part of a major cost-cutting effort for its parenting company, Pedestrian Group. As reported by the Sydney Morning Herald, Pedestrian Group is slashing at least 40 jobs and ending its licensing deals to publish third-party brands including Vice, Refinery29, Gizmodo, Lifehacker, and Kotaku in coming months. The outlet adds, these titles will no longer be published in Australia, with a majority of their staff to be let go. Now, if you know anything about Kotaku, you know that this used to be one of the main websites to go to in order to get game guides and some kind of entertainment news. But what we've seen from Kotaku US in recent years is more of an ideological shift that tries more to push a narrative than just to try to bring people information. So I think that Kotaku US may be shortly following in the footsteps of Kotaku Australia, but let's go ahead and continue here. B&T also reports the Pedestrian Group CEO Matt Rowley revealed the licensing deals were scrapped because it faced financial headwinds. He added, given these factors, we've made the tough decision to focus on our wholly owned pedestrian brands, where we control the strategy, the content, the product, the sales, and the outcome, the entire business. This means that we will transition out of our current brand licenses, which will reposition for business in the future. So they're just trying to save their company at this point. Whenever you end up in an ideological battleground and you're not winning more people over to your side, this is inevitably something that we see happen. This will have an impact on roles within the group, and I appreciate the uncertainty this change creates. So we will be in contact immediately with those people. Where possible, we will look for opportunities for redeployment, and will continue to work with everyone over the coming days to support this difficult transition, he concluded. Kotaku Australia managing editor David Smith confirmed the site was being shut down. He wrote on X, "Folks, I have some sad news to share today. Today, the story of Kotaku Australia comes to its sad and abrupt end. It has been one of the great joys in my life to wake up every day and run a site I love with all my heart." He added, "To all my comrades at Pedestrian Group, I love you, and I've never worked with better or more talented souls in all my life. To the readers, thank you for showing up every single day, even the wingers in the comments," which I'm guessing is Australian slang. I don't really know. So as we continue here, after thanking a number of his colleagues, he revealed that the website was the second highest read site in the group after PTV. Which is interesting because, again, Kotaku is one of those names that just the name itself carries a little bit of clout because that's one that a lot of people have heard. Again, the problem is that Kotaku US, at least, has switched over to being an ideological propaganda website. And we'll look a little bit into some of that stuff here. According to data tracking website SimilarWeb, Kotaku Australia was only generating around 1 million page views a month. In comparison, the main Kotaku website does between 8 to 9 million page views a month. And we'll look at that because the only reason they're getting those 8 to 9 is it's because of YouTubers. Nobody's going and reading their sites. But go over to That Park Place, check out this article. It gives you a great rundown of what's going on. And we've got something else from That Park Place as well. Just a little bit later in the day, Kotaku's senior editor Alyssa Mercante lashes out after Kotaku Australia shut down. Now, if you're in this space, you've no doubt heard the name Alyssa Mercante. She is kind of known for getting online and trying to start controversy, and whenever she does, to her credit, it does drive traffic to her website. But it's not the good kind of traffic. Kotaku senior Alyssa Mercante lashed out in anger in a number of tweets after Kotaku Australia was shut down. As reported by the Sydney Morning Herald, Pedestrian Group is slashing at least 40 jobs and ending its licensing deals, and we just read that over in the other article. But let's jump down to what it is that Alyssa has to say about this. Mercante reacted to the news in a couple of threads posted to X. First, she wrote, sending solidarity and love to the amazing writers at Kotaku Australia and all other sites affected. You're all stars and deserve better. Capitalism is cruel. Your work remains, always. Capitalism is only cruel to those who deserve to be pushed out because they're not able to drive anything that is bringing in money. It's kind of the basis of capitalism. If you are able to make money, you will succeed. If you're not, and you're going against what people want, you're going to lose out. It's the nature of the beast. It's meritocracy. She continued, the internet and the rats infesting it are even crueler, but a reminder, cheering for good people losing their jobs while men get rich off their labor is morally bankrupt. And let me just say, I tend to agree only in the sense that it's sad whenever anyone loses their job, right? That's their livelihood. And if they're passionate about it and it's something they're working on, it's a sad thing, but it happens to people. I think something that needs to be remembered here is that whenever you're fighting some type of an ideological battle, there are going to be casualties, and they're going to be on both sides. And unfortunately for all of these writers at Kotaku AU, they're now out. And that's just how it goes. But the reason for that is that we're in the middle of a true battle for what culture is, and that battle is just ahead of what the politics are. Now, see, they've come through, they've marched through these institutions, they've taken over all of media, and they're pushing propaganda, and now people are seeing it and people are pushing back. Mercante then concluded, and by the way, I hate that I even have to say this, but let's stop the reactionary ride before it gains speed. We are not affiliated with Kotaku AU, and we don't share anything except for a love of games and good reporting. And, I mean, they share the same brand, they share the same name, so in a way they are affiliated. And I haven't read anything from Kotaku AU, but I would imagine that we're seeing a lot of the same kind of cultural commentary that comes through as we're seeing over here in the States. And then here's a little bit of commentary. The thread is full of lies, something Mercante is known for. Cheering for an outlet that spreads woke ideology to be shut down is not immoral. In fact, it's a good thing. Woke ideology is evil. Bishop Barron explained to Angelus News. First, they advocated deeply antagonistic social theory, whereby the world is divided sharply into two classes of oppressors and oppressed. And this is something that follows the Marxist ideology that has moved into all of this. You must have the us versus them happen, because if you don't, then people unite. People tend to agree in common thought. But whenever you have something that you can turn into a war, then they're able to actually stake their claim on some things. Second, they relativize moral value and see classic morality as an attempt by the ruling class to maintain itself in power. Third, they focus not so much on the individual as on racial and ethnic categories, and hence they endorse the idea of collective guilt and recommend a sort of reverse discrimination to address the injustices of the past. And this is something that we saw with the BLM movements whenever that was really dusting up, is we saw it's not enough to be not racist, you must be anti-racist. And that's something that they pushed really hard to get people to fight for the activism on their side, not speaking on racism or anything, but in the cultural Marxism that they're using to try to infest everything. That way they can continue to make more and more advances, and the rest of us are just left going, wait, what the hell's going on? Because a lot of us are worried about other things. We're not worried about what's happening necessarily in the culture. We're worried more about our day-to-day lives and things with our families. But these people have moved through, pushed it down to the younger generations, and then made it a normal thing. And it's not. It never will be. Fourth, they tend to demonize the market economy and institutions of democracy as part of a superstructure defending the privileged. Fifth, they push toward equity of outcome throughout the society rather than equality of opportunity. And that's another big point. You'll hear them using these words like equity of outcomes. And the only way that you can put people on the same level is by dragging one group down to the level of another group. Then you have your equity of outcome. He added, and finally, wokeism employs divisive and aggressive strategies of accusation that are contrary to the gospel demand to love our enemies. Suffice it to say that Catholic social teaching stands athwart all of this. It just wants social justice, of course, but not on woke terms. Its heroes are not Marx, Nietzsche, and Foucault, but rather Isaiah, Amos, Jeremiah, Jesus the Lord, Ambrose, Aquinas, and Teresa of Calcutta. So this goes into the fact that this is a battle, right? And the fact that Kotaku AU is shutting down means that nobody's going and visiting. They're not getting click-through rates. They're not getting ad revenue dollars. And if we jump over and we look at the Kotaku traffic on SimilarWeb, we see that they're 2,311th in the United States, number 21 in their category. But whenever we look at the breakdown of the numbers, their total visits 8.8 million, with pages per visit being 3.4 pages. Now, I went and looked over at Kotaku and tried to bounce through and look at a couple of little things, and then it hit me. We're the only people going to look at their site. Average visit duration, 9 minutes. It's people who are jumping in, reading a couple of things that they're putting up, making YouTube videos, or writing articles about it. They're not getting their standard readers that they expect to get. They're on just a constant downward trend, and this is just over the past couple of months. I don't think Kotaku in the US is going to be around long. I think that it's something that they need to keep in mind, because I don't wish any ill on the people who are just writers, but we're in a culture war, and there's going to be casualties in this, unfortunately. However, we can't continue to live in a society that pushes these divisive views and ultimately doesn't care about the future. These people are nihilistic, and the only thing that you can do is go with what they want you to. I'm Hayden75. We're here. We're taking this on in full order, and hopefully you guys are enjoying coming along the ride with me. Like, share, subscribe, and be sure and come back. I'll have another video up soon, and we'll see you guys then.